If you are looking to have your statutory declaration, affidavit of income, identity, damage or lost passport, lost license, tenancy. If you are looking to have your statutory declaration, affidavit of income, identity, damage or lost passport, lost license, tenancy agreement, agreement of settlement, power of attorney, last will and testament, and certification of documents, then you need to visit the Alastair Collins firm, located at the Kellyan Mall, 162 Lamaha Street in Georgetown, between Camp and Waterloo Street. Alastair Collins is a commissioner of oaths and a justice of the peace. Make certain you visit him or call for more information at 649-6410 or 685-6448 or 503-1451. And there's adequate parking available. Go down to the Alastair Collins firm and have all of your legal issues settled and brought to the fore. Alastair Collins firm. Contact them at Alastair Collins firm.
Hello, this is attorney Shellin, Washington, owner and founder of the Washington law firm located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
All right. Hey, guess what? Good evening. It's Wednesday. I almost forgot. It's Wednesday. And I have to rush, get onto a minibus just to be here with you this evening. Otherwise, if I didn't do that, guess who would have been hosting the program tonight? Yep, Lemon. Lemon would have been hosting tonight's show. Andrew Supermarket, what is it? They were closed today for stock taking, but they'll be open tomorrow. They will be open tomorrow. All right, so sorry about that. Yep, I know it's blocking me. I just got a message from some folks who really want to see my face, right? They're like, hey, that ad is blocking you, Mark. We want to see your face, please. People are begging. I don't know why people beg to see my face so often. There must be a reason, but that's Andrew's Supermarket. It's okay. People do want to see my face. I can't blame them at all. Can we? No, we can't. All right. So look, if you're in Brooklyn, check this out. 5606 for folks who are into nursing and all these things. Go out there, get your uniforms. Just mention this show. Mention to them that you heard it right here on 107.1 FM on Straight Up. All right. Hey, what else we want to talk about before you guys get to see my face? Is there anything else you guys want to? Hey, let's not get into this tonight, please. No boots on the ground tonight, man. We'll allow the dust to settle first before we get on to this boots on the ground and all these. I haven't heard that in a while. Boots on the ground. We ain't backing down. Hey, come on, guys. Repeat after me. I remember when I was a little boy, a very, 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 very long time ago. It doesn't look that way, obviously. Taking good care of myself, right? But a long time ago, there was a song. I don't know how many of you have been in the national service, but I heard about guys who were in the national service, and these guys came back into the village, and they started to just walk up and down the streets. I thought they were nuts for a second, because all they were doing was saying left, right, left, right, left, right. And they, I don't know, for some reason they thought they were some military officers and all. Left, right, left, right, left, right. And then people start to make a song. And look, no disrespect to the late former president and the founder leader of the People's National Congress. I don't know if you guys recall this. I don't know if the people from Linden or other parts of Guyana were chanting this. Left, right, left, right, left, right. Bornham, left feet, first wife, left, right, left. On the quarantine, we had lots of fun. Lots of fun. All right. Anyways, good evening to all of you. Boots on the ground. That chant is over. It is done with. Nobody wants to hear about boots on the ground any longer. Right, Rochelle Johnson? Good evening to you. Michael Reed and all the other folks. I have noticed that GT Rudyal, gosh, GT Rudyal is back with us. Good to see you. Good to see all of you. Lindsay Lohan. What's going on, Lindsay? How are you? Good. All right. Let's see before we get started. Thanks a lot for sharing the link. Boots on the ground. Boots on the ground, right, Emily? Boots on the ground. I don't know. Government boots. Boots on the ground. You know, we're warming up. When you can't see my faces yet, we are warming up because we're now getting started, mind you. And we have a lot of things to talk about. Francine, how are you doing? People get some fancy names on this place, man. Not Francine. Look, I see somebody named New Links, Sean, Bob Semple. These got to be West Coast Berbice people. They get some weird names. Not like the people from Linden with some nice names. Shellin. Well, speaking of Shellin, Miss Washington is with us this evening. Washington, she's an attorney at law. We're going to have her in the studio. I noticed Lemon is ensuring that all is well. He's putting on people's makeup and everything. And guess who else is with us? The General Secretary of the Guyana Teachers Union. She is going to be with us as well. And then we'll ask Lemon to connect us with J.R. Crawford. Oh, yeah. J.R. Crawford. I want to find out from J.R. what's happening, what's going on in Berbice. That's all. We were just all about that. I want to hear nothing else from J.R. Crawford tonight. What's going on in Berbice? What's going on in the country? That's all, right? So don't have us go another route. Hey, good evening to all of you beautiful people. Thank you so much for sharing the link. Let's begin with let me just congratulate Miss Patram. She has the mid-morning show right here on 107.1 FM, along with her staff, her co-workers, her colleagues. They're all in the studio there in the mornings, and they work very hard. And I say thumbs up to them. She had a nice interview this morning with Ramnaresh Sarwan. He did a good job. He answered some nice questions. And so congratulations. Don't forget to tune into this program from 9 o'clock Guyana time, 9 until 11. Guyana time, that is. 9 until 11. Good job, Miss Patram. And her selector, Andre, and the crew, Earl and Josh. Good evening to all the folks there at 107.1 FM. But guess what? I want to talk a little bit with this attorney at law. She's with us. She's originally from Linden. Yes, that's a plus. Good evening, attorney at law, and Happy New Year to you.
Hi, good evening, Mark, and Happy New Year's to you too. And thank you for having me here on your show.
Hey, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here with us. When we extended this invitation, albeit through our executive producer, who said, hey, let's get back the lawyer to find out what's happening with you and your practice and what's happening from a legal standpoint out there in Brooklyn and by extension, New York. Before we get into that, how did you start the new year?
I started pretty well, Mark. I just had a slight little setback. Then I got a little cold, you might say. Influenza, but I believe I've recovered so far nicely. So I'm grateful to be here tonight.
So we're glad to have you. We're glad that you're recovering, and that influenza seems to be going around all over the place. And that is why we want folks to remain very, very careful.
Yes, indeed. You have to be
wear
very
your
careful.
mask, just do whatever that is necessary. Do like me. A lot of ginger, lots of stuff. All right. From a legal standpoint, you do a lot of things in terms of landlord. If landlords are having problems with tenants, they can make contact with you. If tenants are having problems with landlords, the tenants can make contact with you to say, hey, I have a landlord who's behaving outside of the norm, outside of the law. I need help. In this COVID pandemic situation, they need help. And now there are landlords who may want to take advantage of tenants too, or there are tenants who may want to take, advantage of landlords as well. If they're having such problems, they can make contact with you. You deal with those matters. And what other legal matters do you deal with?
I do have a very strong background in personal injuries and medical malpractice. As a matter of fact, that's one of the areas I started off with And then I kind of like, I think I told you before while I was on this show, and I believe I was on Miss Patram's show also. And I did mention that some of the other areas, I kind of inherited them from merging with another attorney, another Guyanese attorney who had met, and he's now retired. But yeah, I have a very, very strong background in personal injuries and medical malpractice. But the other areas I also practice, like landlord and tenant, and I do have other attorneys who work with me on those areas. And I think one of the things that I've been noticing in New York, period, and more so, Mark, from the time I came onto your show, and I've gotten some of the response from some of your viewers. And I did notice one thing that is kind of lacking in our community is a lot of times they don't have information. And I think it's good sometimes to come here and just give people, especially with this situation you're mentioning about the landlord and tenant situation. A lot of people were not aware that there was a moratorium, and that expires on the 15th of this month. And there were also other programs to help tenants and landlord. Particularly, there was the rental relief program where the landlord could apply for that if the tenant suffered any hardship from COVID, or vice versa. The tenant could have applied for it themselves and, be in a position to pay the landlord, because we do understand that we're living in unprecedented times. And a lot of people have suffered some amount of hardship and they fell behind. And I do understand also a lot of people have taken advantage of the situation that is happening right now, and they're not paying the rent and they don't intend to pay the landlord. Traditionally, the attorney who I inherited part of his practice did practice a lot of landlord and tenant on the landlord side. He had a lot of the smaller landlords, West Indian landlords, who weren't able to pay the large fees for the large firms down there in Manhattan. So he did a system with, a very, very low cost to help them to evict tenants who were not paying the rent. But occasionally we do have on the tenant side, and those are cases where the landlord is taking advantage of those tenants and they're trying to raise the rent without any reason or cause, or they're not fixing the apartment. It's, we tend to call them slumlords, where the apartment is in a rundown situation and the landlord is not fixing. And there's remedies for that also, because Guyanese people tend to not know that if your apartment needs fixing, there's something called HPD. You just dial 311 and you make a report. You don't have heat in your apartment, 311. You have a broken cabinet and the landlord is refusing to fix it, 311. You don't have hot water to take a shower, 311. So there's a lot of information that needs to get out there to our community so that they'll be aware that there are remedies available if you're going through something, if you have a landlord, but they're not to be used excessively or to be abused. That's the flip side of it. I want to provide the information, but I don't want people to use the information in the wrong way. You want to use it responsibly.
All right, you did speak of this moratorium where tenants cannot be evicted, and they have until the 15th of this month. From your standpoint, do you see an extension of that, especially with the thousands upon thousands of people being infected and hospitalized with this COVID-19? They seem not to be going away at all. Do you foresee an extension of that?
They're likely to be, Mark. There's been several extensions from the initial or the inception of this moratorium. I think first it was initiated by the U.S. government, the federal government, and then it trickled down to the states, and in particularly New York. New York is very protective of tenants, and it's likely, very, very likely, that they are going to implement a new one. So chances are we're not going to be seeing any real evictions anytime soon. The courts are allowing us to proceed on the calendar, but when I say proceed, I mean they're not necessarily giving us a judgment, but they're allowing for conferences and for the tenants to have the opportunity to either retain legal aid if they qualify, or just basically try to see if they could get an attorney on their own and try to represent themselves and drag this out as long as they can, because chances are No one is going to get a eviction judgment any.
All right. I'm not sure what's happening at Attorney Shellin Washington's end, but let us hope it's rectified and we're able to continue this brief interview with her before we get a couple of the other folks on. Sorry about that. We missed that 30 seconds from you, attorney.
Yeah, I was just basically saying that it's likely that they're going to implement another moratorium, and chances are we're not going to be seeing anyone being evicted by a marshal anytime soon.
All right, that may be a good thing for tenants, but there are landlords who might be saying, "Oh man, I have this guy down in my basement. I want him out. I want Mark out, but I can't get him out of my basement." And so, a lot of landlords, if they are in need of getting out people from their basement, like Mark or Rickford Burke, people love to say that we live in basements, right? Get in touch with Attorney Shellin Washington. Of course, I'm just being a bit jovial there. Rickford, I don't want him to sue me to say that I say he lives in a basement. He doesn't live in a basement, but that's what the PPP folks love to say that we do. We all live in basements. They don't, right? So landlords can get in touch with you. Tenants can get in touch with you if they're having problems, or even if they have some sort of injury, if they've fallen a job, if they fall in front of somebody's sidewalk, whatever it is, injury, car accident, they can also get in touch with you.
Yes, that is correct, Mark. I believe a lot of times among our people, mostly Guyanese, a lot, they're not aware that, if you slip and you fall on the sidewalk, you could sue the city. If you fall on the stairs at work, you can sue your employer for workers' comp. If you get injured at the job, because a lot of times Guyanese people get injured on the job, in particularly the healthcare workers, and for instance, CNAs, they tend to get injured a lot from lifting patients, and they're unaware. Like, if this happens to you, you have a remedy at law. So they will continue to work and not realizing that you could actually be home, relaxing on your sofa, watching the TV and getting treated while you still get paid. So these are all things we need to be aware of as a community. So if you know someone or you yourself might have suffered some sort of injury on the job, you know what to do, the correct steps to take. The first thing you have to do is report it to your employer, obviously, and then seek medical attention.
And then you have that attorney, that lawyer's number right at your fingertip to call your lawyer. And we have a lawyer right here with us, Shellin Washington. She deals with those matters. She will handle it for you. I noticed there's a Colin Barnwell is saying extend eviction moratorium for the life of the pandemic. You could tell he's a tenant, right? Hi, Colin.
Because the landlords don't have the same sentiments at this time. The landlords are really, really struggling, because I could relate on both sides. And I do have some of my clients who are the landlords. They're really complaining because they're facing a possibility of foreclosure.
Yeah.
And they're not getting any money. But a lot of times it's due to misinformation or not having information, because the city was providing funds for landlords up to 1 year if you had a tenant that was not paying the rent. But that fund obviously ran out, and the governor is now trying to get more money from the federal government to extend that program or reinvent it again, so landlords could be paid. But it's just up to a year, so the landlords are still in a worse position than a tenant anyway.
All right, and I'm glad that you've mentioned that as well. Glad that Colin Barnwell and others would love for that to be extended. Thank you for that comment, Colin. And we have Gloria saying her cousin have problems with her tenants. I will like her about you, Miss Shellin Washington. Okay, saying that to contact you. All right, so lots of situation, whether it's tenants, whether it's landlords and so forth. You do deal with immigration matters, or light immigration matters?
Light immigration matters because the more serious cases are like removal proceedings, asylum, and those are the matters which I refer to a colleague. I do not, our office, because I have trained paralegal who can handle the light immigration work, which includes the paperwork part. And if we have to do any minor appearance at an interview, those are the type of issues we deal with: paperwork, appearance at an interview, citizenship application, I-130, 45, work permit. Those are the type of issues we deal with.
All right, glad that you've mentioned that. Any other issue legally that you deal with that maybe people can get in touch with you? And what's your contact number again?
The number to reach me at is 718-877-3100. One of the things I need to tell your audience too, Mark, is that because we're living in such unprecedented time, for the most part, we've been working remotely. So a lot of times we're not physically in the office, but we are there whenever we need appointments. Most of us are working from home. As you know, the courts does most of the cases virtually. So we are not required to go into the court itself. We're just required to appear on Microsoft Team, for most of the court appearances. So if somebody's trying to reach our office, just be patient. We will get to you. And we're willing to work with you. And again, that number is 718-877-3100. We're also on Facebook, Washington Law Firm. And I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook also. I have my personal account on Facebook, and the business account is also on Facebook. But like always, I will warn your audience again, like I did the last time, that I'm not just all about the law. I'm also about God. So part of what I do is, teach my religion, teach about Jesus Christ. So if you do ask to be my friend on Facebook and you do follow me, it's not going to be all about the law on Facebook.
Yeah, and this is the second time that you're appearing on the show, and my first song was that opening song, and I felt so guilty when I saw. And do forgive me, attorney, forgive me, please.
I do forgive you, and I do have to mention that. The funny thing is, after that show, I went to a church anniversary, and I have to mention this because one of the, I think the pastor's wife approached me and told me, "Oh, she saw the show. She saw the show."
And she saw that song.
Yes, and she did mention that dance. So I said I'm gonna have to mention this to Mark.
And then lo and behold, I played it right back again. So the pastor's wife will be calling you again. You see, I tell you that guy, I tell you about that boy. Right?
No, you didn't play the song. The song was the 7% song that you played. So it wasn't played again this time.
Oh, okay.
That's the one.
Oh, the 7% song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But thank you so much. Again, you want to get in touch with attorney Shellin, Washington. That telephone number is 718-877-3100. 718-877-3100. Anything else before we allow you to go tonight? Attorney?
No, I just want to say thanks to your audience and all those people who've been supporting us as a result of your show. I want to say thank you. Extra special thanks to all of you viewers for supporting our firm, because it's really good when you can have the support of your own people. So in addition to the other West Indian people who are supporting my business, I'm not excluding anyone. I want to say thanks to all of them, all of the supporters. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate you, and I hope we will continue to do business throughout this year.
And your office is in Brooklyn?
Yes, Mark, is at 455 Utica Avenue.
455 Utica Avenue. That's between what?
That's
Linden
between
Avenue?
Maple Street and East New York Avenue.
Maple Street and East New York. You can't miss it at all.
No, the building has the building has 1-800 Hurt, so you cannot miss that building.
You just cannot miss it. And opposite that, I guess up the block is a McDonald's. My favorite.
There's a Wendy's.
Wendy's. Wendy's. Sorry.
But there's a KFC just across the street. So I just want to caution everyone, because if you go on Google and you Google that address, you're going to see the 1-800-HURT, but you cannot call that number. That's not my logo on that building.
Yeah.
I will eventually get my logo on that building, Mark, but that's not mine.
Oh, yeah. But this is your number, 718-877-3100. 718-877-3100. Whatever problems, legal problems you have, do call the attorney. If you want to, it's a legal number, not a prayer service hotline, but it is a number to talk about legal matters. But thank you so much for what you do. Thank you for your legal services throughout the New York area, the Brooklyn area, and thank you for being there for people. Hopefully the phone is going to start ringing very soon. I've been getting some good reviews about you and how you deal with your clients. Congratulations on that, and all the best for 2022. We'll have you again soon.
Thank you, Mark. And once again, thanks to all your viewers. And I will give you that number in case you need prayer, Mark. I will provide that number to you, but absolutely this one is just for legal work.
Yeah, I probably do need some prayers, but thank you so much, attorney. We appreciate your time this evening, and
thank you.
Get well soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. All right, the attorney at law, Shellin, Washington. Feel free, give her a call. Telephone number 718-877-3100. Originally from Linden. She's now an attorney in New York. Her office is in Brooklyn, between Linden Boulevard and Maple Street, or Maple Road it is, on Utica there. You can't miss it at all. All right, so what else is happening? Let me check some of your comments. I know somebody wants to pin the address. They want Mark to pin everything. Mark pin the address. Mark pin this. Mark pin that. Gloria Pod, yeah. You can call the number and you'll get the address. It's you can't miss it. It's there in Brooklyn between Maple and Linden Boulevard. All right. So what else you guys want us to talk about this evening? We have two persons on with us. Two persons. Miss Coretta McDonald. She is a member of Parliament. Lemon said that she is on with us. Okay, so she is on with us. Let's see where she is. There she is, Miss Coretta McDonald. And then we have J.R. Crawford, I am told, is with us also. And J.R. is always smiling, always ready to go. Always smiling. And it's like a coincidence that we're always, the three of us are back together. Manchester, Honest, Philippi, all sorts of things. And Winifred Gaskin Memorial. But before we get down to asking you guys some questions, Miss McDonald, let me just say that this young lady has passed away, and a fighter for coalition, Ganesh Mahipal, reminded me. Her name is Kathleen Armstrong. And condolences from Member of Parliament Ganesh Mahipal, also Miss Sherry Gold, and lots of others. Funeral service, we will carry it in terms of the death announcement. We don't usually do that, but we've got to remember soldiers and fighters in this struggle. And my condolences to Miss Armstrong. My condolences to the family members, the friends, and the colleagues of Miss Kathleen Armstrong. All right, so let's get down to business here. Good evening, Coretta. Good evening, JR. Yeah. You are the General Secretary of the Guardian Teachers Union. There's supposed to be this isolation for 2 weeks. Ms. Coretta McDonald, also a member of Parliament. What's happening with this isolation? Because it is obvious that PRIA and the PPP, the installed PPP regime, they're not backing down. They're sending the kids out there. As we see the numbers, hundreds upon hundreds of people are being infected with COVID-19, but the installed regime doesn't give a damn. What is the situation with this isolation coming from the GPU?
Mark, we had good night to you, first of all, and to Junior. Good night to your viewers. We had Monday as the day of isolation, a day of isolation, Monday. And so on Monday, our day of isolation, it made its impact. As a matter of fact, coming out of Monday's isolation day, we saw many, many, many officers whom we've never seen visiting schools on that day. Schools that had water woes, many of those were fixed. Toilet issues, some of those were fixed. Furniture issues, we saw Richard Ishmael Secondary getting some additional furnishing. And so the isolation day made its impact. What we've recognized though is that quite a few teachers went out to schools, and they went out of school as a result of fear. Um, I would want to say to those teachers that they really don't know what their rights are, or maybe some of them just want to be in the good books of the regional education departments, or maybe in Priya's good books. And so even while some of them were not feeling well, they were at school. Um, so the isolation day, it was not 100% support, and of course you don't get that anytime, but we can safely say that we got 65% support from teachers all across this country. So in schools where you had numbers like 575 and you had 36 children turning up for school and 5 teachers, then you would have made an impact because nothing could have been had happening at that school. But what we see on the flip side of it is where this illegal regime, they've decided that they are not going to pull their arms back. They're not going to have any sit down discussions in spite of all the numbers we're having. As we speak, Mark, today we had the closure of St. Joseph High, we had the closure of Tutorial High, and we had closures across the country. And the quarantine, we had closures of schools. And this is as a result of a number of teachers coming down with COVID, as well as their students and the pupils. Watuka Day Primary School, one class, 18 pupils are tested positive for COVID. But you know what? I don't want to blame the regime. I'm going to blame parents and teachers. Because if parents don't send their children to school, then we don't have any school. If parents don't value their children's health, then they'll send them to school. I would want to say that regardless of what the economic situation is with us, if our children are not healthy, then they can't learn. If our teachers are not healthy, they can't teach. And if we don't see that as being important, then we'll go out there and give the illegal regime an opportunity to tick once again campaign promise fulfilled, where Barajaglio said the reality is people will have to die. And I'm thinking that that is a campaign promise, and so they're going full force ahead to ensure that they're able to take that. Because when we look at today alone, we had another 1,000 new cases today, and still this illegal regime doesn't see it fit to pull face-to-face classes and to have resume online teaching, and gradually let's phase face-to-face teaching out once again in as we go through the term. But I figure we're waiting for something drastic to happen, and then you'll have all the sorries, and you're going to have the illegal ministers saying, well, the government is going to stand the expenses for the funeral cost.
You know,
Maybe
I hope, we all hope that it doesn't get to that. But as you have mentioned, over 1,000 persons have been registered as being infected with COVID-19. Over 1,000 persons just
today.
Just today. I'm glad that you've mentioned that this installed regime, they wait until something happens before they rush out there to give out $1 million and all these things. I saw something out in Bonasika Creek there where the so-called minister in Indar or Ignar just rushed out there to give $1 million each to the family of that mother and 6-year-old that died. That house fell and killed them. And then another family that got their house burnt. So these people in the install regime, they wait until a catastrophe. They wait until these things happen to pretend as though they care. They don't do anything before, but they rush after, give out $1 million. They didn't give a damn about, well, forget about the fire victim. Nobody could have seen that a fire would have been taking place. But the house that the woman was living in, nobody cared. But now they're rushing to give $1 million. I'm sure if the woman went to the ministry or somewhere and asked them for something, they would have chased the woman. But she's now dead. They give $1 million. J.R. Crawford, welcome. I want our listeners to focus on the subject matter. J.R. is with us. J.R., what's happening in Berbice in terms of the schools? I heard from some folks at Wellington Park School, not a lot of students. Honest Primary, not a lot of students. Winifred Gaskin, not a lot of students. Not a lot. Primary, not a lot. And so forth and so on. What's happening on the quarantine, sir?
Good night, everyone. Mark, Clarissa rightly said that it's not the government to be blamed, but the parents. What is this talking? We're hearing a lot of noise in the background.
Yeah, that's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. What we are seeing is that our parents are not taking heed as to protecting our future generations. Regardless of what the PPP are trying to make us send our kids to school, if the situation is not healthy and our children are not being protected, why are we sending our kids in harm's way? That's our future. And maybe the parents don't have enough love for their children to be sending them into harm's way. I don't see a collective coming together with the parents of these school-age children, where regardless of political affiliation, that we must come together and say, no, we are not sending our children into schools at this juncture because it's not safe for them. You know, we are supposed to be, a little bit more educated than the older days, but yet we're seeing this, don't care behavior of our parents, that they're not showing resistance to the government when the government is forcing them to put their children in that situation. If I were to have if I had a school-age child, I would not send him to school, and I've said it 2 years ago. If the situation is not remedied, the kids should not be in school. On the quarantine, yes, there's a lot of parents that are holding back their kids, but on the quarantine, especially upper quarantine, we're seeing some political folks who are connected politically. They're going out there with public address systems, announcing for people to go to wakes and funeral and other large gathering, and nobody is putting a stop to them. Certain rum shops are able to do as they please, and the police cannot say anything to them. So these people are actually putting monies above the lives of our citizens. Now, we may practice safe distancing, but someone who disregard the COVID rules may have gone to this gathering and they come into contact, we don't know about it, and we end up getting, the sickness. So, it's disturbing to see that as Guyanese, we are not taking our health as a priority, but we are looking to be foolish, or in some case, being blatantly brave, thinking that COVID will not, hit us all. For me, I would keep my distance as much as I can. And, if I have to go out there, I'll go out there, quickly and get back in. Because I can't fight COVID, but some of us believe that, they're supermen.
All right, well said, J.R. Crawford there. I know I've asked the Honorable MP for just a few minutes, and I don't want to take up much more of your time. I know a few minutes, I should stick to that, a few minutes. But Priya Manik-Chan and the others there at the Ministry of Education, they're actually saying that this is not a success for the GTU in terms of the isolation, the stay at home. Of course, they are going to say it's not a success, but in the eyes of most Guyanese, it is thus far a success. Are you surprised that she's trying to play this down?
Surprised about is that Priya Manik-Chan did not take time off to go visit those schools because, on Monday morning, I was out there and I was hoping that I would have been able to catch up with her at one of the schools on the avenue, but she did not come out, and she knows exactly why she didn't come out. She knows exactly why she didn't come out. But like everything else you noticed, they were posting pictures, one from Watuka Day, I'm just using these schools loosely, one from Timbuktu, one from so, and Mark, look at those classrooms. Clean classrooms, which is saying to us that all these people are doing is that they're lying and they're putting up a front. Let me share this one with you.
Before you share that, Honorable MP, and do forgive me, stick 1 second there.
Sure.
As the General Secretary for the Guyana Teachers Union, are you comfortable with the Ministry of Education releasing photographs of kindergarten kids, nursery school kids, without parental permission? Do you find that? Go ahead.
Mark, this is the double standard that I speak of all the time. I remember sometime last year when I spoke about Priya Manik-Chan being the Minister of Education, I said, as a leader, you must lead by example. And I commented on the fact that she was posing with everybody else's child who went to take the vaccines or the vaccine. But I have not seen her posting her child's picture showing that her child took the vaccine. And you know what her response to me was? Children have rights. And you cannot do this to children and you cannot do that to children. But it's okay for her to post pictures of kindergarten school children, the children we call nursery now. And it was okay for them to post a picture with a young lady collecting a pack of pads from Hugh Todd. It was okay without parental permission. And at that point, they didn't know then that children got rights. And it was against the child's right to post a picture of the child. They didn't know them. And so this is the kind of double standard that we have to face all along. Let me give you some more. We have in some schools, the grade 7s, which we call first forms. They're saying to head teachers, you have to bring them out. But ask Priya Manik-Chan, where is her grade 7 daughter? At home, doing online classes. Ask Marcel Hudson, where is his son, grade 7 son? At home, doing online classes. But it's okay for other people's children to come out there to face COVID and everything else. But like
let us remind our listeners that, and whilst we're not in the habit of bringing in and mentioning people's kids, I merely mention that because the photograph of those little ones at a nursery school being paraded around all over social media, coming directly from the Ministry of Education, showing the photographs of little kids. Ms. McDonald is basically, and rightly so, saying that Priya Manik-Chan wouldn't want anybody to do her kids that. Mr.
Exactly.
Martin Hudson wouldn't want anyone to do his kids that at all. So what's good for one should be good for all, and what's not good for one, the same. And that's the point being made here. So nobody's attacking Marcel Hudson's kids. Nobody's attacking Priya Manik-Chan's kid at all. But we are just pointing out the hypocrisy. Now, are you sure? Because her daughter, one of them, I believe, attends QC. There's no in-class QC or just online?
As we speak, QC is closed for 14 days. But when school reopened on January 3rd, the grade 7s, they were not out at school.
Okay.
And so, this kind of first and second class treatment of citizens in this country is what really gets to me. But like we were saying, GTU is satisfied with the impact that Isolation Day Monday brought about. We saw lots of changes. And like I was saying, as we speak, Tutorial High is closed, St. Joseph's High is closed. We are going to see by tomorrow, many more schools along the avenue, Wilford Avenue, would be closed. Many more schools in Georgetown, many other schools across this country. I noticed today the parents from a school in Region 1, they sent a letter and they signed that letter, and it was sent directly to the Chief Education Officer, highlighting to him the woes that people are going through at this time with COVID, and that they're not prepared to have their children remain in schools. And I want to say many more parents should adopt that kind of attitude, which would force the Ministry of Education, because COVID is not a joke. Let me say this. The GTU pleaded with the Ministry of Education on the 31st of December 2021 to not have schools reopen on January 3rd, simply because we were just coming out of the festive season, and we know persons were here, there, and everywhere. We said to them, let's allow that 1 week to be the grace period for all the signs and the symptoms to show up, and what will have to wear away and what will not have to wear away. And let's reopen schools on the 10th of January in a phased approach. But the ministry, in their stubborn ways, it's like a whole lot of pride. So you can't say something and withdraw. You have to go through, because this is what we're about.
It's just beyond pride. It's dictatorship. Priya apparently wants to control, and then this guy, Marcel Hudson, allegedly calling teachers waste and all these different things. It's a sad situation that we are facing.
Very sad
in that country.
But again, sure, I blame the teachers and I blame parents, because I keep saying to our teachers, if the teachers from one school decide that we are not coming to school today, like what is happening in our schools. In schools, you're having 8 teachers, 9 students, 18 students, 18 pupils, 12 teachers coming down with COVID. And you know what the department is saying to them? We'll spray you out at 6 o'clock in the morning, and by 9 o'clock, you'll be ready for school again. I mean, this is absolute madness, absolute nonsense. Because we know that in our homes, when we paint, you can hardly inhale that paint, much more when you're spraying schools with formalin and other products, and you're saying to the children that they should come in school. Crazy, absolute craziness.
We're looking at the comments, and it is comments like these, and the manner in which some folks think. Here, look at this question. So why you people don't take the vaccine? Coming from this African woman here, Patricia Samaru, and I deliberately say African woman, Samaru, is talking about you people. We're talking about little kids. Patricia Samaru, little kids, that's who we're talking about, the little kids. Gosh.
You see, Mark, they are so consumed in their ignorance that they put everybody into a big basket. Because let me say to you, whether you take the vaccine or not, with what is happening in Guyana, everybody will be consumed with the virus if you don't take the precautions, if you don't protect yourself. Vaccine or no vaccine, you're going to get a COVID.
A lot of ignoramus. But before we get back to JR, and thanks for being so patient, JR. Look at this. Look at this person, Winston Barker. 1 second, JR. The union is weak. This lady MP and being paid by the people. She cannot wear 2 hats and must choose which is more important. Oh, address this issue here, Madam. Address this issue.
Mark, again, let me say, these people are mentally lazy. because you have my good friend, Paul Narayan.
Wait a minute. The last person that spoke about people being mentally lazy, that person was being attacked left, right, and center.
Let him come for me.
What do you mean by these people are mentally lazy?
Mark, the same trenches that you got there, as Sherwood would call them, who making those wild comments. They are mentally lazy. They don't want to go out there to seek out things for themselves. And so what they're touting there, they're just repeating like parrots what they hear. Because you know what? I have my good friend Paul Narayan, who is the president of GAU, and he's a sitting MP, and they have absolutely no problem with that.
They won't see that. They won't see that. They're not care. They're not concerned. They just want to look at you.
Correct, McDonald. Correct, McDonald.
But look at this other thing. Look at this other thing, Miss McDonald. And JR, thank you so much for your patience, man.
No, I'm enjoying.
JR, look at this other thing. Patricia Samaru is back again. Our African system is Patricia Samaru. Welcome back again. She said, little children can take the vaccine too. Okay? Little children, would you give your kindergarten child the vaccine, Patricia? Kindergarten? Are you kidding me? Little children can take the vaccine too. Okay? And she wrap up. Look, she gets what you call a scarf, and she sweat on. Y'all in America, man. Good night.
And you know, Mark, it's amazing. It's amazing how we find all these people who are overseas and they're deciding what should happen in Guyana. All these people who are overseas are deciding what should happen in Guyana.
Anyways,
what they should tell Priyamanik Chan to do is to get proper furnishing in the schools, get proper windows, proper lighting, proper testing equipment, so that when children come into school, they can be tested, their temperature and so on can be tested.
You know what you're going to say? Rest on yourself. Because when you've been in office, I ain't been do that. Rest on yourself. That's what you know.
But when the coalition was in office, the coalition saw it fit to close schools.
Sure, fair enough. And to
close the country down.
And to ensure that kids were sent to school. They're not got to pay money, transportation, these things. Let's
exactly.
JR in, man. JR, what's going on with some of these folks who are so blind that they I don't know. What's your take? Also,
Mark.
Hypocrisy. We see hundreds of people attending football games and all these different things by pro-PPP organizers.
First, let me address some of the folks that are making these questions. They have no regard of, or some of them are not that educated as to see things in a different manner. They speak without thinking, and that's a major problem here with us as Guyanese. Two, the folks that attend these games or these shows or whatever, or these gatherings, they do not respect their lives nor other people's life. So we have to be held accountable for our own safety, as Coretta was just saying there a few minutes ago.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Patricia is back. Patricia is back. We got to pay her some attention. Patricia, you stupid Mark. You lives. Mark, you stupid. You lives in the U.S. and the kids come over in the U.S. taking the vaccine. No, my 3-year-old daughter can't take the vaccine. They can't. 10 years, 9 years and under cannot take the vaccine, Patricia. So you know where you live, gal. Sorry that I give you all this time, JR. I'm sorry that I stopped you, but we gotta give Patricia Samaru an award. We got to get this award. 1 second, all right. She got her award. We're done with her because She doesn't get it. She doesn't get it. She doesn't get it. Continue, JR, please. Forgive me, but continue.
You know what I was hoping to see, that regardless of our political affiliations and all this great stuff, that guys come together, you know, to have a collective voice on some of the things happening, so we can be safeguarded from this COVID infection. When we are seeing all these new infection rate and it's going sky high, but yet we are not seeing Guyanese that are willing to come together, regardless which party we support, and speak out against certain practices that are mandated by the government. At the end of the day, we are the ones that matter, because the government can afford certain medical protection. Most of us can't, but yet we can't find the time to hold hands together and to stand up and go to certain practices, especially when it comes to our children's future. Why? We don't even know what this COVID infection is going to have on our bodies. It's going to affect our mental development down the road. But it seems like we have a big mental problem here in this country. And I don't know what it's going to take for us to start to come together and speak out of who does not show regard to our citizens, to our younger generation. We can address the situation properly. But for some reason, we don't care what happens. I guess Guyanese feel that, hey, if they die, we go back and make more babies. That's it. That's all I can think about.
All right, J.R. Crawford there for us. The time just goes by so fast. What's the situation on the ground, Ms. McDonald? Because we are hearing that the ministry, obviously, Priya Manik-Chan feels that she's the own big woman. She could do whatever she wants to do. To hell with anybody, since they got back into office, albeit under questionable circumstances, taxpayers' money seems to be doing well. For all those installed ministers, thank God for taxpayers' money. But has there been an approach to have any form of discussion between the Ministry of Education and the Guyana Teachers Union?
Mark, we had one on the 31st of December, 2021. That is when the ministry wanted to talk about the reopening of schools on January 3rd. We had a discussion on the 31st. Since then, we've had no further discussions. And I think the discussion then was just to give people the impression that, hey, the ministry is talking with the GTU. The ministry would have consulted with the GTU, but I keep saying to folks, there's nothing like a one-day consultation when you're talking education. We have to talk all the time because things change every day, especially with regards to what is happening now with COVID and the different, all the different episodes that we're having. We've got to put changes in place, and we've got to do that every other day, because every day teachers are being infected, pupils and students are being infected, education officers are being infected. But you know what? The minister or the ministers could lock in their homes when they get the attack from the virus, and they get all the private doctors to come and treat them. But you know what? The poor and ordinary people are the ones who suffer. They're the ones who suffer.
All the time.
They're the ones who are being told that you have to come to work. I saw a picture of a teacher sitting in a schoolyard, shivering, sitting in the schoolyard because she wants to get sunlight. You know why she's doing that? Because she was threatened that if she doesn't go to school, she's going to be dismissed. And this is the kind of fear that lots and lots of our people here are living under. But a time will come. And that time would only come if we as Guyanese people, not as coalition supporters, not as teachers, not as nurses, but we as a people, if we decide that today is the day to stop the nonsense, with this, what is happening here in terms of the increasing numbers with the virus, we are not going to go to work for one day. So if all the minibus operators, all the taxi drivers, all the speedboat operators and teachers and nurses and all the public servants decide we're not going to work today, you'll see how quickly things are going to change.
Or even the cane harvesters, known as the cane cutters, should dump
Exactly so.
and say, that's it, enough is enough. But then again, there are some folks who might say, Coretta McDonald, she bred butter. J.R. Crawford, he bred well butter. Probably got hundreds of millions of dollars his parents left him. Hundreds of millions. Ben Chop bred butter. Ben Chop, they're living in a small basement. He bred butter, right? It's easier said than done. But at some point in time, people must be able to make a decision. It's a life and death situation. COVID is that. Hundreds of people have died. Maybe they should not have. Look, even in the United States of America, guess who is supporting? Guess who is supporting vaccination? Donald Trump. Donald Trump is now vexed with some of his Republican colleagues who are not pushing vaccination. He is upset about that. Donald Trump. But one of the things before we get back to J.R. Crawford, Lekram Ramkilawan. Lekram Ramkilawan asks a question. He said, Ben Chap from America. You mean Blackbush Pola? You mean, or Alnis or Philippi? That what you mean? Or America? But putting that statement aside from, a comment aside from Lekram Ramkilawan, Lekram, good evening to you. Lekram says here, and I agree with him, 100%. Mark, why the opposition and the government can't come together and make decisions before making lots of comments? In other words, I suppose what he's saying is that both political parties, that's how I'm reading Ramkilawan, both parties, they're going out there talking. The PDP going out and talk. The APNUAFC coalition going out them attack. But nobody seems to be coming together so that they can sit and discuss issues that are beneficial to all Guyanese. I assume that's what Lekram is saying. And if that is what Lekram is saying, I support him 100%. What is your take on what Lekram is saying here? They're coming together for meaningful discussions between the political parties.
Mark, I think we remember the leader of the opposition has been saying that he's ready and willing for talks. He is ready and willing to talk. But you know what? The PPP, they're saying the opposition must first recognize them as the legal government before they can attempt to talk to us. And you know, I find it very stupid because we sit in parliament, we debate in parliament, but you don't ask in parliament whether you're legal or illegal. You sit there. And so I find it very disgusting that the installed president would want to be first recognized before he decides to talk. And all of this is just a whole lot of drama because he just doesn't want to talk. The consultation is not a thing for them. It's not in their book. Sitting and discussing and arriving at position, it's not a part of them. But again, the power lies in the hands of the citizens. And if citizens come out, whether you're APNU or you're PPP, you come out and you decide enough is enough. Our leaders must sit and talk so that we can have the benefit. Then our leaders will quickly come out and sit and talk.
You know, the funny thing is, dictators, I agree with one of the comments there, Ian Williams, dictators don't talk. They feel they know it all. They don't, They're not patriots. They're just a bunch of money grabbers, hustlers, flat-foot hustlers. That's what they are. Look, our operator is signaling us, Lemon, Earl, and Josh, and the team, and Andre, and all of them signaling us that I have to go. And I have to go with their schedule. J.R. Crawford, Your closing remarks, please. Dark, very, very dark days. We are seeing it in Guyana under the installed PPP regime. Your closing remarks. Offer the people some sort of hope, please, sir.
Mark, first thing, to the PPP of saying that not until Joseph Harmon recognized them that they will have dialogues. Once the opposition went to parliament, it's a form of acknowledging the PPP as a government. I don't understand how these guys are said to be leaders when it's simple. When they refused to go to parliament after the no confidence motion, they clearly said they did not recognize the coalition then. The coalition went to parliament now, so obviously they recognize you in some form. Now, the second thing, the citizens must take note that if you have politicians playing Russian roulette with our lives, it means that you are only a political pawn at certain times. That's around election. We must start to realize that our lives are more important than the political positions some of us hold. So we have to decide to cross lines and come together to make a collective voice against people who are not taking our health situation at heart. They are there for the people, by the people. But it seems that whoever our leaders are, they mandate the people. The power is reversed. And this is what we guard against. We need to come together as Guyanese. Whoever is responsible for our security, be it health-wise or physical, that they must be held accountable. They are being paid by us to take care of our business. So we cannot sit on the fence or just be mum about it and expect things to change. Not until a good majority of Guyanese are buried or burned that we will wake up and start to fight for our goods and services. It's a sad reality, but that's what it is. We are too damn concerned or consumed with our feelings towards political parties or political leaders. It's about us. They are workers for the people. So not until we take responsibility for our well-being that we're going to see changes. And like Coretta rightly said, it's time to shut the country down because the majority of us will not wake up tomorrow.
Well said, J.R. Crawford. Well said. Shut the country down. Easier said than done. People love to see that. People love to see people stay home. And nothing is wrong with that. You cannot put your lives at risk. You cannot put your kids' lives at risk. Come on. The pandemic is real. Thousands of people have died. In Guyana, over 1,000 plus folks, over 1,000 folks have died. 23 plus persons, I believe, when they were in office, 23 people died. When the PPP took over, albeit through questionable means, they were installed. So they're an installed regime. They don't like to hear that. The truth hurts. JR mentioned earlier, they call the coalition after the no confidence motion illegal and all sort of things, but yet they were taking their salaries every month. They rush down as though they're rushing down to welfare office to grab their salaries and all these things. The salaries weren't illegal. Then I know that if it was illegal, why didn't you back all the money for? Exactly. They're not going to give it back. They're a bunch of covetous. I want to say the word, but we're on radio. Miss McDonald, your closing remark, please.
Mark, before I close, permit me to extend birthday greetings to one of our most distinguished sons, the Honorable Rashleigh Jackson, who is celebrating his 93rd birthday today. And if you recognize that I'm not in my regular setting, I'm just there. But this is one of the young men.
Miss McDonald, former Minister of Foreign Affairs, respectable diplomat, all these things. You can't tell me you're the home of Rashleigh Jackson, Sir Rashleigh Jackson, and not even go close to him for us to say happy birthday to him.
But
And
just hold for me. Just hold.
Not coming off until that happens.
Just hold.
Thank
Just hold. Comrade Jackson, we have Mr. Mark Benschop here, and he is saying he wants to see you there.
Good evening, Sir Rashleigh Jackson.
Happy birthday.
How are you, sir?
I am great. I haven't seen you. It's been so many years. Good to see you. You're looking very young.
No. I'm growing older.
How are you doing, Sir Rashleigh Jackson? How are you doing?
I'm managing.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you so much, sir.
And when I come to Guyana, we got to take a nice glass of wine, and you'll tell us a little bit about the history of Guyana. You got to write a book.
I don't know about the history of Guyana. I don't even know the history of myself.
When are you writing that book, Mr. Jackson? When are you writing that book?
Well, I did one already, and I'm a little too old to start another one.
No, you're looking very young. Let me ask you a quick question before you go. How would you describe Guyana today compared to when you were in the thick of things, so to speak?
If I'm to use one word, I would say confused.
We'll leave it as that. It's your birth night. Happy anniversary. Birth anniversary. We wish you lots more, sir. Thank you for your service to Guyana, too.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Yes,
Wow.
Mark.
Rashleigh Jackson, a gem indeed.
I
Ms.
know.
McDonald, again, your closing remarks, please.
Mark, I would just want to say to our people, if you're sick, you can't perform. If the children are sick, they can't learn. As a people, if we are sick, the wheels can't turn in this country. And so you should put your health first and foremost. You should demand from your leaders, installed or not, to ensure that your health is counted and that your health should be a priority when they sit to make whatever decisions they want to make.
Well said. I'm sorry that I cut your little party, your little talk there with that honorable gentleman, Sir Rashleigh Jackson. Again, happy birthday to him, and thank you so much for your time, Miss Coretta McDonald, honorable MP. Continue to keep the PPP up comfortable. The Ministry of Education, they cannot reopen school. It's got to stop. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark, and good night to you, good night to Junior, and good night to your viewers.
And to J.R. Crawford, thank you, Mr. McDonald. And to J.R. Crawford, thank you so much again, my friend. And continue to keep the fire burning, the political fire, that is. God bless.
Well, I'll try, because we have a lot of folks who have that is.
I know, JR. Give my regards to that beautiful friend of mine next to you.
I will.
Thank you so much. Yep. Yeah. All right. So Vanessa Kissoon, how are you, Miss Kissoon? The heart of the nation will determine the wealth. Oh, the health of the nation will determine the wealth of the nation. Thank you so much for that, Miss Vanessa Kissoon. Hope to see you soon on 107.1 FM. Again, happy birth anniversary, 93rd birth anniversary to Mr. Rashleigh Jackson. Veer Badra said, come back again, no? Come back again and talk. Come back again. I've been there. Talk it. So don't give me crap or come back again and talk. Is that supposed to be a threat? I wonder who you are, if that is supposed to be a threat. But here is what we do to idiotic folks who come with these sort of stupidity or their stupidity. This is what we do to them. We give them an honorary doctorate. Donkey busy tonight. I feel sorry for this donkey tonight, man. Cruelty to you, animal cruelty or something tonight. Busy, right? Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time. God bless you all, man. God bless you all, and God bless our beautiful country, Guyana. I don't know. I gotta smile. I gotta smile at these people. Good to see some of you back with us. They get in. They get in. Look at this here. Look, they're coming out. I don't even want to read it. Look, Devon and Prasad. Look what he's saying. They so love me tonight. I wonder why. Let me see. Leave what he has up there. Leave him. They're coming out. It's hurting. It's hurting them. I know why, because when you put these two folks, look, let's put this this guy up. Let me see. And I know why they're vexed. I know why they're upset with me. I know why. It's hurting them. It's really, really hurting them. I just know why they're upset, man. They're upset at every single thing. Look the story. Look this face and look the face. I know why they're upset. Look at that face. Look at that face. Just imagine if you're going through an alleyway in the night, or even, as soon as day cleans up and you run into this thing here. What do you think will happen? Huh? So Devanand Prasad, you go and what you have there on the screen, you go and you send that message to him. Probably may love that anyways. I've got to go. The truth is hurting them. The truth is hurting them so much. Oh, they're busy tonight. There's a song that I know he's probably going to head over to the cathedral to ply his trade, and this is no respect to the hard workers there at the cathedral when things like Devanand show up. It's a different situation when Devanand Prasad shows up. They have a song that goes, "Freak comes out at night," by Houdini. Freak comes out at night, and these guys are something else. The truth hurts them. I've got to go though. I'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time, right here on 107.1 FM. Don't forget, tomorrow, the morning show, starting 9 o'clock, 9 to 11 with Gabby and Selector Andre and the crew, Earl and Josh, tomorrow, right here on 107.1 FM. I've got to go.
Hey, yo, RGF. I know you have experienced the goodness of God, man. And I just want you to help me with this one. Say, you're a good God, yes. 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 I can never be ungrateful when I've seen your goodness. You pay my debts and increase my assets. And it's more than what you did for me. Daddy, you are beyond worthy. I wanna come by the fearless matters. You bless me all times that I countless. And I pray that I'll always see everything you did for me. I lift my hands to you. I'm gonna lift my dance to you. You have been so good to me. You have been so good to me. I'm gonna lift my hands to you. I'm gonna lift my dance to you. You have been so good to me. You have been so good to me. Grace without measure. Your love is forever. I don't wanna waste my time in searching. None like you never. You're marvelous in majesty. You're awesome authority. Like David, I'm a righteous. your greatness so that every man can see. You never will. Every promise made you always fulfill.
When it seems like it's not going good,
everything lines up to your will. Every single doubt I will kill. Recognize God and be still. There's nothing I can do anyway, so I take my position and lift my hands to you.